All right, folks, it's another Friday in the life of the world. It's the first day of Ramadan, so we are saying from this hangout, Ramadan Kareem to all Muslim faithful across the world. Welcome. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, let's tell you one or two things. Federal government concerned about fleeing COVID-19 patients, just as the number of confirmed cases in the country rises to 981. Later on, we'll share this with you. The Chief of Army Staff, General Tukur Burute, says victory over Boko Haram is near. It's a matter of days, as Nigerian troops record 2 quick-fire wins over insurgents in Yobe State. I'm hanging out with, let's welcome for the second time in as many weeks, Yomi Owokbe. I greet you.
Yeah,
Yomi, you have 3 children.
Yes, I have 3.
Now they know you since you are always home.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
I greet you.
Yes,
Jide, a gentleman in Akwa Ibom is a judge. I can mention his name, Ime Omana. He says to greet you. Ask me whether you don't marry. I say you are a grandfather.
No, but wait until I become one.
Oh, okay. So what do I tell him? That you are not married?
Tell him I'm married.
But you are not a grandfather.
I'm married to one wife for now. You know the Borno people.
Okay.
They promised me that because I know their state so well, because I go to their state more than I go to my own state, and you know my current state, Ekiti state.
Apart from Ekiti.
Because I go there more than I go to my adopted state.
Yeah, they will give you
and
another
my
wife.
original state. They said they will give me a Shua woman. That's what.
Have you seen a Shua woman
before?
I never. Then you must be interested. That's why you are emphasizing.
You need to know Nigeria a lot more.
Oh, come on.
You need to see a Shua woman.
Wow. Yomi, the man is sending a message.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm sure that they will respond to him soon.
Okay, the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, nothing can be more frightful than stupidity and ignorance in action. As we sit at this hangout this evening, a total of 981 Nigerians have tested positive for the dreaded coronavirus. Tells you we are face to face with the demon himself. Perhaps an agonizing twist in the tale is the fact that a lot of patients are going into hiding, which makes matters worse. The federal government is deeply concerned about this. It's a curious development, as it constitutes a heavy cog in the fight against the pandemic. DG of NCDC, Chikwe Ihe Kwazu, remarks that a stigmatization element has come into the picture, and therefore patients are going into hiding. This is crazy, Jide.
Yes.
Crazy to say the least.
Dangerous as well. Very dangerous. Because if we do not get hold of these individuals and take them to where they can get the care that they desperately need, they are going to put the rest of us in trouble. Because the community transmission phase is the most dangerous phase in the battle against.
Do you know, as you speak, Nigerians are waiting for the next neighbor to test positive, for them to believe. I don't know if you understand the picture. Oh, until I see her.
Yes, for some of them to believe. But some families have lost loved ones in different parts of the country. So those who have lost loved ones have actually seen the virus eyeball to eyeball.
In action.
Yes, they've seen clearly that this virus exists. Those who have been infected as a result of their closeness to someone who contracted the disease earlier on, they now know that this is not a hoax, that this thing exists and is there to kill people who treat it with levity. So we just must do whatever it takes. I've heard of cases in which the police had to arrest and forcefully take away patients, people carrying the virus. It shouldn't get, it's for your own good. because ultimately it will kill you. Many people imagine that because the symptoms are similar to the symptoms of malaria, that it's no big deal, we'll survive it, we'll defeat it. But it's like toying with the tail of the rattlesnake.
When you Yorubas will say in this case, Oloma Jari. So those that is, may God no let us see them. Those way they see them, then they pray for them.
Nobody prays for a thing like
you don't
this.
pray, but when it comes in, not that God is not there, Yomi, but let's take you quickly to the FCTA, where it has vowed to force patients who are refusing treatment to obey the wind.
That's actually one of the stories that came up, I think about 2 weeks ago, in Abuja, where someone who had returned from the UK was showing symptoms, was hiding in his house. So it was other people, other neighbors who noticed that something was not right, that then reported to the NCDC. The man refused to come out of his house, so the police had to come and forcefully get him into an ambulance to take him to. And I think that's also part of the problem. There are a number of people who are hiding their travel history. And also a number of people that when they become sicker and they cannot really handle it again and they get to the hospital, they do not tell the doctors that they traveled.
Yeah.
So sometimes even where
the
they
history,
write, exactly. So even where they write, because there are forms where you fill now that you would actually say, have you been to these countries? Have you traveled out recently and things like that? They would write no. And so even though they're showing symptoms, it's now later, maybe later after they've left the hospital, that the hospital will then discover that this person is actually positive with COVID-19.
And they will have infected caregivers. Right?
Yes, and then they will have to shut down the hospital, which is also why a number of hospitals are being shut down.
Yes.
Because the hospitals only discovered after the fact, after maybe they've admitted the person, taken the person in for a few days. And in fact, it was a hospital in Lekki that 2 of the caregivers are already infected, 2 nurses and a doctor. So all these things are happening where even people who are supposed to know better, who are, in quotes, educated, well-traveled, they come back, go to the hospital and do not report that they have traveled. So it's a big problem that is really, really ongoing.
You said, I think the problem of the elites in our country believing that they are bigger than the rest of us. The big people, the people of means, believing that they cannot go to those isolation centers. They cannot go to the public facility where those carrying the virus have been treated. Is one of the biggest problems that they believe that, okay, I have this eyebrow hospital should be able to take good care of me.
These people have one thing in common. The Queen of England, she was a year older yesterday.
Yes.
Queen of England, Justin Trudeau of Canada, the British Prime Minister, all tested positive.
Yes.
And it was big news. So what's the big deal there?
The British Prime Minister was treated in a public hospital. Yes. When he recovered, he was wheeled out on the stretcher, wheeled out of the hospital with people, just waving and clapping for him. I saw him on the bed.
So quickly talk about stigmatization, which is putting us here.
No, you see, I was trying to say something before.
Okay. Sorry. Go on.
Some of them feel too big. Some of these people feel too big. And I think government, because I heard Governor Sanwo-Olu saying, look, those who hide their travel history, the state will name and shame them. I don't think it's enough. We've got to put some of these guys in the slammer. Because, look, in better climes, once you are treated, it's just like a woman who is a criminal and she's a nursing mother. Once you wound that child, you then go ahead to face the law.
That's it.
So once they've been treated, they are fit, they've tested negative twice, they are fit, they can then be made to face the law of the land. See, it's not enough to simply shame these people because, look, by their actions, they are endangering the lives of so many people. They feel too big to be taken to those, because it's a public health facility. They feel too big to be taken there. Therefore, they would rather go
But
a highbrow
you Seb,
hospital.
how then go take your senator go to a open center? You
Oh,
know,
but those are the
yeah,
sometimes,
but that is
sometimes
those are
and
those are
the
the
best care,
designated
the
locations.
best care, the best care. You will get the best care in those places. Look, for some of them who are behaving like they are wiser than everyone, whereas you can see clearly that it's not actually wisdom but stupidity.
Yeah.
When they do not improve in those places, because the experience that the people who are appointed by government to take care of them in those public facilities, the experience that they don't have it in those private
Okay.
hospitals.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
they
yeah.
still
Oh yeah.
end up there.
That's it.
Well, look up. I know Polish citizens that have been discharged in Lagos. I know other Westerners, people from the West,
Western world.
yes, who have been discharged. Foreigners, the Italian, the Indes case, was he not treated by us and certified well and allowed to go? So the point is, people can't go to hospitals in Lekki just because they have deep pockets and then go and be endangering the lives of people. Do you know how many doctors we have lost to this virus, and nurses, caregivers are dying, all because people will not confess to them.
And that's an anxiety.
It's not simply a refusal to put on protective clothing. It is because these guys lie to them about their travel history. So you begin to treat them like people who have common malaria. Before you know it, this extremely transmissible disease goes into your body.
And well, the debate will continue whether it is airborne or it is man to man. Now we know it is man to man. Because even now airborne, something for don't happen. Begay for don't day. You understand? But Yemi, let's tease you a little. Southwest states want the face mask to be mandatory.
I
Debatable?
I don't think it's debatable because now I think we're learning more about the disease. This is a novel coronavirus, so there's something to learn every day, every week. And we've discovered now that just a simple face covering, it doesn't even have to be an N95 mask or a mask that you buy in a pharmacy. A simple face covering that's made of cotton, where I'm seeing Ankara type of face masks now. All those masks work. So what people
As
need
long
to
as you can
do,
breathe freely.
yes, as long as you can breathe freely, what people need to do is cover their face and their mouth when they go out. So it protects you.
Are these masks disposable?
Well, so there are.
Must you use one for a week?
No, well, you shouldn't use it every day. So if you use it today, you should wash and keep. So probably have one or two, especially if it's a cloth mask or a bandana or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just something that can protect your face, protect you from other people, and then also shield other people from you in case you have maybe a common ailment like a common cold or whatever it is. Because as long as you can pass something else to someone, then that person is also in danger of catching the disease.
Yeah.
So that is, I think it should be mandatory for everyone for as long as possible. So probably throughout the month of May, when people go out, they should cover up.
So only saying from Monday, you must have one.
Yes.
So at this studio, we must have.
Yes, if
It's very likely that we'll be wearing...
if it becomes a directive of government, we are not lawbreakers. We are subject to the laws of the land.
Okay.
Of course, we'll put it on. And it's also for
I
our
want
own
to see
good.
how you go look.
You see,
I want to see how you go look.
With
in
me
the thing.
seated not far away from you now. Once I put it on, at least I know I have some form of protection.
Where you know you get now. All right, let's quickly talk about palliatives. It's engendered a lot of, it's triggered a lot of debates for and against and all that.
You know, when that young man, Captain Jamil M. Abubakar, son of the former Inspector General of Police, began to actually give food packs to people, I came here and I challenged our politicians, the lawmakers that we all know have deep pockets and all that. We said, what are you doing for your constituencies? What are you doing? We have a situation in which there is tension in the land. By making food available, that tension can go down a little bit.
But do you know the chain? The chain start from the state assembly Yes. National Assembly,
Yes.
House of Reps, or is it
Reps? Reps.
Oh, okay, not Reps, sorry.
No, no, no.
Slip of the tongue.
Stop talking like that.
And you say waiting. And senators. Did they go ahead?
No, no, so, okay. Now, we began to talk to them. We began to call them out. I can tell you the rate at which lawmakers are beginning to do that now is high. Yesterday, Senator Abuja, Borno North, called me, said, Jide, because I said, Borno senators, Borno federal lawmakers, what are you doing? The House of Assembly in your state, 28 of them, donated their March and April salaries to the task force in the state so that they can buy food and other items for the needy. I now said, so what are you people doing? Because you are richer than the House of Assembly members.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Senator Abuja called me last night and said, Jide, I have made available the sum of 30 million for my constituency. So the money has been made available. They will now go ahead and buy rice and other things that people need to eat. Secondly, yesterday, I talked about some blind students at Unilag.
Yeah, okay.
You know, one of the lecturers there hinted me that those boys, even in normal times, is difficult for them because they need people to help them, take them around. Those of us who have got eyes, who can see, we are finding it even difficult during the lockdown. So these boys had begun to starve. So I mentioned it to Senator Bashir from Oshun, you know, who is a former student of Unilag, you know, Jibola Bashir. Jibola Bashir moved in quickly. He said, I'm going to do something. Do you know that last night, somebody called me from the UK, said, Jide, I heard you talking about some blind students in Unilag, who almost 50 of them who are starving.
Yeah.
I want to send the sum of 200,000 to your account so that you can deliver it to them. I said, you can't send money to my account, sir. Don't be annoyed. I'm going to give you the phone number.
Naira or pounds?
I'm going to give you, just said 200,000 naira. I'm going to give you the phone number of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos.
Okay.
The Vice Chancellor, once, I'm saying this now, I've not given him the number, but I'm going to give him after this program. The VC can then decide on his own how to reach those guys. Either it chooses to reach them through a lecturer who is close to them or through their association. So this is the thing, because I know other people will come who will want to help those boys.
Although my trouble at a time like this, Yemi, is when people act on impulse. It should be natural. It should be natural.
It should be. I think it's good that people are responding now based on the fact that, you know, they're watching programs like this and they're beginning to see what their responsibility is. But this morning in South Africa, I mean, over the past few days, there's been a lot of restiveness. Youths are coming out to protest, even though there's a lockdown in the country for another 2 weeks. And the reason that is happening is because a lot of them are starving. Already there's looting of shops taking place right now in South Africa. People are breaking down shops, and the reason they say is that they're hungry. They're going into shops to steal food to eat.
Can we expand the logic there?
So, yes.
This is a critical time in the life of the whole planet.
Yes.
So you are hungry.
4 billion people in lockdown.
And so the answer is break into shops.
Survive.
Sir,
okay.
People want to survive.
These are young guys. Sir, a lot of these guys are young guys that they don't.
No,
they don't
one
even
is
care.
not saying that it is right, too.
That's the point I'm making.
But sometimes people can be driven to engage in criminality.
Like your 1 million boys in Lagos.
No, well, the 1 million boys have always been criminals.
Nobody is saying that. Nobody.
Okay.
Those ones are criminals now. I'm not saying that what is happening, even in South Africa, there's a huge population of criminals. There's no sense in breaking into shops because you are
just
hungry,
to make a point.
Because you are hungry.
Yeah.
But it sends a clear signal to the leaders of that country that they need to do something about maybe in form of palliatives or something. Just reach out to people so that you can ease the burden that is on them.
At least keep talking to them.
Exactly.
Let's come quickly to Lagos Central. Mrs. Remi Tinubu was also joined the fray.
I mean, she's from what we read in the news, She's put out some palliatives for up to 5,000 people that are in dire need of relief materials. And I think that's a good way to start. Because a lot of these people, they don't have anywhere to go. If you're driving on the street now,
that's what we are seeing.
The big problem is getting it to the needy.
And then,
please underline that.
You are right on the money.
yes.
I was discussing with Okorocha, the Senator Okorocha. He said the problem that they have is that these things do not usually get to everyone that is meant for. That along the line, the people who help you to distribute, they steal. It ends up in their houses. He said that there was a particular woman, what was meant for her, that she called the woman said, oh, instead of about 4 items, that she was given just 1. He then said, what was going on? So, what 4 items you get to a person, you give that person 1.
Do you know you are constrained to ask if that is our DNA? Is that really us? Is it in our DNA?
I don't like to generalize in situations like this, but for a lot of us, yes.
I also want to add, just as we're talking, last week we talked about the fact that, yes, there's palliatives going on, in different places, different states in the country, but then we need to also continue to talk about the quality of what is being given out.
Yes.
And the quantity as well, and the consistency. You can't say, okay, I'm giving out palliatives in my community, and then you're doing 1 derrick of rice, 1 derrick of beans, and 1 pack of Indomie.
Like a governor somewhere who distributed a bar. We then don't prepare. That was just.
That in, you confirm that.
No, okay, they're wrong. Pictures don't tell lies.
So the quality and the consistency is also important, because people receive this and they feel like, is this all I'm going to get for the next 1 month if I'm going to be at home? One derrick of beans. So the sustainability is key, is very important in doing this kind of a thing. I know that there are places for instance, in California, what they've even done is that they've opened soup kitchens in... yes.
We just saw pictures of the... I think those ones were neatly packed, and the quantity is quite significant, as you can see.
In places like California, there are soup kitchens where people can have breakfast and dinner. I think those are the kind of things that then makes it maybe, 1, transparent, because I can go in and actually get food. I know where I can eat twice a day. I think those are the kind of things that we should also be thinking about, and it's in a stadium.
Once our government tries to do such a thing, middlemen will hijack it and ensure that it doesn't reach all of the people concerned. It's either the portions are too small for even a 10-year-old to eat and be filled.
You see, the flip side to the whole thing is, it is natural with us. A thing like that, distribution is one palaver. You are talking about social distancing. See the way people fall over themselves to get just a pack of Indomie. But quickly, so I don't forget it, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, my friend Otumba Shegun Rushewe, joined the fray. He distributed sanitizers, face masks made with local fabric called Adire.
Journalists. So you can see that's what he's wearing.
Yeah.
You can see it actually matches the fabric.
That's it.
Look
at the distance.
Yeah, on Tuesday there was one that Governor Sanwo-Olu wore.
I'm sure I will look good in this. To wear, to use
No, this your dress. I want to see the face mask, the color of your dress.
We can't lay our hands on this now because
and cap to match.
No dress.
So palliatives still around the country. We want to say from place to place, palliatives can be distributed without any hue, without any
publicity.
We don't
just
need
do
publicity.
it freely.
Do it. Whoever gets it
from your heart
will spread the news.
Yes, I think it's important, because the more people are talking about the fact that, oh, I've received. We talked about this even with the federal government's directed palliatives regarding distribution of money. The more people get it through their BVNs, if people receive monies into their account, whether it's 5,000 or 10,000, the more they're able to tell their friends, oh, I received 10,000 into my account. And then it becomes free publicity for even for the government that, oh, this is what the government is doing and it's transparent. I think that's where where the government right now is missing it, because it seems like a lot is being spent but is not being seen by the average individual. So that needs to happen.
Information, there's a lot of information gap, Jide. Before I came on air, a gentleman tried to, the typical Nigerian way of saying things. They go distribute money for North. And so I said, okay, get your story right. I know that Kayode Fayemi, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, said X number of people were giving money and so on. So information
At least I saw the distribution of palliatives by the Humanitarian Affairs Minister in Imo State. TVC covered it. I saw it. I didn't have to go to Imo to see that.
So it's not a north-south thing. Please, get your information right. As they say, everybody is entitled to informed opinion, but not everybody is entitled to stupidity. Let's take this break. We'll come back. Let's keep it going. Of course, the big story is that the federal government is worried about patients who have tested positive refusing to go into isolation or to be given care, and it's crazy, Jide. Information is key now. I think there should be National Orientation Agency. This is the moment. They can steal the show. You remember?
I do agree. I mean, this is the time where we said it last week as well, that enough information and sensitization is not going on. There's not enough advocacy on every level, whether it's advocacy for social distancing, advocacy for washing your hands, and advocacy for even distribution of palliatives and all of that. It's not enough. And that advocacy needs to increase and talk to the people in the language that they understand. Because before, if you can't tell someone about social distancing if you're just talking above their heads or speaking a lot of English and grammar. People need to understand why social distancing is important at this time, why they need to cover their face when they're going out. Now that they've said we can cover our faces with ordinary cloth, then go ahead and tell them in their language that you can cover your face. You don't need to go to a pharmacy to buy a mask. Cover your face with what you have. So that advocacy is important. National Orientation Agency, Ministry of Information.
If you cut your wrapper into size and so on.
Yes, indeed, you can.
If it becomes that expedient.
Yes, okay. If you need to cover your face to go out, you must do it.
Social distancing, not too easy an exercise.
Yes, at this time.
A time like this.
Yes, when we've been preaching palliatives. We've been encouraging politicians and other people of considerable means to reach out and distribute food packs to people. But in a season of hunger, it's extremely difficult for you to distribute food to people without social distancing being breached. It's almost impossible. The people...
It raises the debate about...
It becomes a survival of the fittest.
Okay.
Who gets to the front of the queue first? You know, in the places where I've done it, I've said pregnant women come to one side.
Sorry, we have company. We have a colleague, Sam Omashaye. Sam, I greet you. How do you do?
Sam, Steve, what do you call it? Jones Usain.
If you forget my name for once, so be it. Now, social distancing, Kosam.
I'm not looking 70 at all.
Okay, then.
All right. I just want to say, just to continue with what you guys have been discussing, Babajide and co, that in this day of hunger, it is very difficult to distinguish who is really hungry
and who is not.
And we should be very careful in trying to make the distinction. Because what we have seen for most part is that if you are really energetic about your hunger, we really need to go down to see where your energy is coming from. Those who go about breaking stores or running about the streets saying they are hungry, They are not the really hungry ones. The really hungry ones don't have the power to even get out of their seats.
Oh, yeah.
So we should be able to distinguish in a very strong psychological sense those who are hungry and those who are not. And that's the point I want to make, that while we are distributing this, we should be able to make the distinction so that we don't get carried away by those who make noise. Hungry people don't make a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's true.
Hungry people know they make noise. Thank you, Big Sam.
No, look at the boys, the 100 million boys, or what do they call them, that were breaking into people's homes, raping people. I said,
person we're hungry.
I said, if you are hungry, their own kind of hunger is different. If you are hungry, you won't even find the strength to minister to a woman. You won't be able to find the strength. You won't be able to summon that strength.
Your ministry go weak.
Yes, you can't minister to a woman when, you see, have you seen a thoroughly hungry person? Even your whole body will be shaking.
Sometimes I think I don't know you, but it's all right.
Your whole body will be shaking if you are really, really hungry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So someone will tell me that you are hungry, but you can summon the power from inside of you to rape a woman. No, you are not hungry.
Or to break into a shop.
To break into a shop. No, you are not hungry. So Sam really has a point there. We must identify the people who need these things the most.
Oh, yeah.
And that was what I was saying.
And they are the real vulnerable.
Yes, the pregnant women, you know, nursing mothers, and
children,
old women, old women.
And minors.
Yes. So these are the people who need all the care in the world at this time. After you've taken care of them, the leftovers, all those energetic young people, they can then come to the front.
But when you say pregnant, let me tell them, no be woman will go stop the belly and so on. Saying they pregnant.
See, all kinds of tricks are used at a time like this.
Everybody has a trick.
When I was distributing food, there was a woman who changed her dress 3 times, trying to con us. You know?
That's Nigerian. Eniola is reaching us from Abuja. How do you do? Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Please, I just want to plead.
Don't listen to yourself. Just keep talking. Don't listen to yourself.
Please, I want you to highlight more on the issue of Borno State.
Okay. What?
Borno State.
What about Borno? What about it? What about the place?
What is happening over there? We thank you very much for this this pandemic. We've had enough of that, but we want to know what is happening.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there in a moment.
Thank you.
We are going there. But Yemi and Jide, we can talk about 36 states in agreement for the first time to say, look, the lockdown, the interstate must be halted for the moment. We are in sync with them. Yes. But the weakest link will be the police. I hope we can go there.
The enforcement.
Because up till this morning at Beja bus stop Lagos, here, you hear commuter Ibadan. You hear it, and marked buses, branded buses, still going cross country.
I think it's a really big problem. I don't know whether it's a lack of personnel, because there are quite a number of, there was traffic on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
I don't know whether you hear me. I understand. If personnel no day, how then go? Those checkpoints have become toll gates.
Toll gates.
I can say it here on network TV.
There are quite a number of them.
It's not good for our image.
It's not good at all, and it's also very dangerous. Because on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway this morning, there was a long queue of people coming into Lagos on foot and also in vehicles. A lot of them were in public transport, and they were all coming into Lagos. And there was actually a checkpoint.
Can you beat this? Night travel is still on.
Yes.
Please, I'm begging you to believe it.
Yes. No, it's the truth.
So I was so amazed
that, to argue about that.
I was so amazed that you have hundreds of people coming into Lagos from another state without nobody knows their medical history. Nobody knows where they're coming from.
Right,
and we've already talked about the transmission across West Africa, Togo, and other countries, Cote d'Ivoire, that come into Nigeria. So we don't know where a lot of these people are coming from. They're all in commercial buses, packed full, coming into Lagos.
Before we leave, our neighbors, can we talk about them in relation to what's going on?
Okay. Cameroon has 1,430 cases now.
As we speak.
Yes, which means that they are higher than us. But we recorded 43 deaths and 668 have recovered, you know. So the rate of recovery is quite impressive from Cameroon. Benin Republic, 54 cases, 1 death, and 27 recoveries.
I don't want to
27
say.
have recovered.
I don't want to say.
It
I'm
may,
still
it may
counting.
have something to do with testing.
Okay.
Because this is quite low. Chad, 40 cases and 8 persons have recovered. That is very low.
Niger.
Maybe in Chad.
Okay.
Maybe they need to step up testing.
I think, yeah,
Niger
testing
Republic, 671 cases, 24 deaths, and 256 have recovered. I'm particularly worried about Niger because this is high, close to. Initially, they were ahead of Nigeria.
Yeah.
But when we started having this huge number of confirmed cases in this last week, then Nigeria overtook them. But they are our neighbors, especially in northern Nigeria.
Yeah.
Kebbi, Sokoto,
Katsina.
Jigawa, Kano, Yobe, Borno, they all have borders with Niger Republic.
Yeah.
So these people do a lot of trading, especially Katsina. There are far more entry points into Niger Republic in Katsina than any other part of Nigeria.
Okay.
So people can come in who are carriers we will not know. So we still need to do something about our borders, tighten our borders so that
all right.
keep the people safe.
Ours is just to provoke the debate, mold opinion, and allow you to do whatever you may with the information we share with you. Before we move on, yes, Jesus or God, Allah day, but do your own part. Leave the rest for the man. All right then. You know, it's not impossible that the monumental gain gained by the Chadian leader Idris Deby was the tonic required by Nigeria's Army Chief, General Tukur Buratai, to finish the job, if you see what I mean. The Chief of Training and Operations, Major General Enobong Udo, has charged troops of Operation Lafia Dole to take the fight to the insurgents in a renewed bid to defeat Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists. He was addressing troops of the 159 Battalion following the successful pounding of the terror gang in the Gaydam area of Yobe State. The Chief of Army Staff has tasked the troops to brace up for the final defeat of Boko Haram, which is very near. As Napoleon Bonaparte said, Jide, the most dangerous moment comes with victory.
Yes, that's when you have to be ready to make sacrifices. The most dangerous moment for the Israelis when they raided in Tibet was to get those hostages out, especially the one that was hospitalized.
That woman.
And that was the turning point.
Wow.
They lost the commander.
Yeah.
At that point, that was the point when
Netanyahu's brother.
Yes, that was the point when they lost the commander. So it is true that the Chadians did a fantastic job. Someone said social media was abusing us, that we were gloating.
Can you imagine?
I will gloat 1,000,000 times when somebody helps me to kill an enemy. Why won't I gloat? Boko Haram, in this company where I work, one of our anchors, one of our newscasters, lost a cousin who was in the army. So, and somebody will kill Boko Haram for me, I will not gloat.
The enemy of
You've
my
not
enemy,
even seen gloating.
The enemy of my enemy, now my friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. That's why we were happy. And it's not a crime to be happy that Boko Haram was killed, if you know what Boko Haram has done to our people.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. They not only killed them, they seized their weapons and they flushed them out of the Lake Chad area. The most dangerous, the most equipped, and the most capable faction of Boko Haram, the one that was consistently attacking army bases, was the one that the Chadians took out. It's something to be happy about. Yes, that is it. You know, that was their own base is there. They were not inside Sambisa. That's where they were.
Okay.
And when you see the quantum of weapons seized, you then understand why they were such a threat. Now that we've taken care of that side, the final push is on. Everyone can sense victory. That all that we need to do now is to have the right strategy, get the boys to be extra committed, get everyone to realize that it is now or never. The Chief of Army Staff is in the Northeast at this time. Some people have said that he said he will not come back until victory is achieved.
Yeah.
If indeed he doesn't want to come back until victory is achieved, then I'm very happy because I want to see victory achieved. We have bled blood too much in that area.
Needlessly. Needlessly.
Shekau, we've been hearing, some people are saying Shekau is in the mood.
It wants to talk peace.
I do not believe that. We've heard all kinds of things. Oh, Shekau is dead. Shekau is injured on one side, this and that. Shekau has fled his location of 3 weeks ago. You know, I said on this program that he was hiding in the Chugrumi forest. The president of Chad said, Shekau, we know where you are. You are in Dikwa. And that Chugrumi forest is not far from Dikwa, which means that they got the intelligence right. So, Shekau has fled. He's fled to the Mandara Mountains, which was his first hiding place when they declared that caliphate in 2014. You know, when they declared Goza the seat of their caliphate.
Oh, yeah.
That was where,
and
you know, Goza is...
hoisted its flag.
Yes,
Yeah.
when you get to Goza, you are looking at Mandara Mountains. The other side of it is Cameroon. So it's gone there because it thinks that, oh, when they roll those armored tanks, they can't climb the hills. So, but we need to get him. Nigerians are not interested in Shekau surrendering. Get hold of him or bring his head. That will please Nigerians.
Yeah.
Because he has killed far too many people. And the
Needlessly.
nonsense that he's doing, that area has to
Needlessly.
stop. He has killed too many people. We should not negotiate with him. Just take him out.
Yemi, the tragedy of war is that it uses man's best to
Yeah.
do man's worst. We have seen both sides.
Yes, indeed.
Let's go in, and why not? If Shekau has been responsible for these needless killings, he should face the book.
I think he should. I totally agree with what Mr. Jide has said. I mean, this is we're at the point of victory, and the truth is everything rises and falls on leadership. We've seen what the president of Chad has done. Idris Deby has, you know, demonstrated true leadership by going in with his troops and routing out Boko Haram from their country. Now it is our own time to demonstrate our leadership, and of course it's good that Burtai is over there in the northeast fighting with the guys. The guys need enough motivation, and now that there's a leader there with them, this is the time for them to step up that engagement and ensure that indeed it is routed. I don't think that this is the time to negotiate with a known terrorist that has destroyed many lives,
Yes.
destroyed the lives of men, women, children over the past 6 to 7 years. That, you know, we've heard this. There was a time when almost on a weekly basis we were seeing soft targets being destroyed, bombings all over the north.
I don't think
so. This is the time where I think, you know, justice should prevail.
Have you heard this saying in America? They say, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Okay, yeah, we are praising God, but let's get the job done, because you rely on God to end this rubbish once and for all time. Because insurgency is, it's like Ebola.
It's difficult.
A lot of people want the insurgents to strike a local environment before you feel it's like Ebola. I mean,
Yes.
it's like the coronavirus we are talking about. People won't believe it until it hits them.
Yes.
So,
You see, our troops have a history. When they have their back to the wall, when you do not believe in them, Nigerian soldiers will show that they have all it takes. I remember 2015, early in 2015, Chadians came to Nigeria to help us defeat Boko Haram. We also had these people from South Africa, the mercenaries. And then under the leadership of Lamidi Adeosun, who was the GOC at that time, what did we do? We recovered all the local governments. We had 7 local governments controlled by Boko Haram in Adamawa State. We recovered all of them. We had 2 local governments under the control of Boko Haram in Yobe. We recovered the 2. We had about 17 local governments in the hands of Boko Haram in Borno State. Yes, the Chadians helped us to recover some. They suggested that we should, because Goza was the headquarters of Boko Haram,
Yeah.
and everyone feared that we may not be able to take Goza from them, you know? Because the most popular video of Boko Haram that you see them on the streets, you know, remember that time when they chased the mobile police out of their base,
Yeah,
because their number one
Oh, yeah.
training facility was in Goza.
Goza, yeah.
They chased them away and kidnapped 14 policemen. Till today, we do not know how those policemen ended up. They were probably slaughtered. People feared. But what did we do? The Chadians said, we can help you to take Goza. Nigerian army said, no, we will do the job ourselves. God bless Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, where he is the tank commander. And under the leadership of Lamidi Adeosun from Osun State, a true Nigerian hero, we took over Goza. In fact, the president that time, Jonathan, announced that he was sure that Goza will fall to Nigerian troops on so day. He also announced that Madagali will fall to Nigerian troops on a so day. That was the level of confidence in our troops. So I back our troops to finish the job, but the strategy has to be right. I like the application, I like the approach that we saw in Gaidam and Bunegeri. That should send a message to the terrorists that, look, your days of infamy have ended. From now on, we will not tolerate any rubbish from the terrorists. So now we can encourage them to go ahead and finish the remnants of Boko Haram that are still there.
I hear we have company again. Hillary is reaching us from Abuja.
Yes, Hillary from Abuja, yes.
I greet you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Let's go.
Okay, please, it has to do with this COVID-19.
You are taking us back there.
Yeah, it has to do with this COVID-19 and the action of the federal government and state government. You recall that when this thing started, the controversy between the River State government and the Minister of... Hello?
Go on. All right. We've lost the connection to him, but Hillary, yeah. Okay, it's just as well that you're taking us back there. The two issues are connected. So, Yemi, you have heard this before.
Yeah.
Mao, the great shaman Mao said, how they call you Yemi, and you know even quarrel. Yemi, sorry, Yemi. You know, Mao Zedong,
Yes.
or Zedong, you know, said, politics is war without bloodshed. War is politics with bloodshed. So it takes us to some of the things you got to hear. This insurgency had to drag for this long because of the politics in it. Have you heard things?
I've heard things like that. Even internationally, what you hear is once there's war in a particular location, there are some people that benefit from it. People that deal weapons, people that are in charge of certain things that have to do with what to expect when it comes to monies that are being released. You know, on a yearly basis, we have up to 1 trillion naira that is released as the budget specifically to fight Boko Haram.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have said, you know, we've read many reports where they've said, like, look, that people who are benefiting from this thing on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, there's benefit in war. Wherever you see war, there's a lot of benefit in it. So whether it's mercenaries that you're bringing in, whether it's weapons that you're selling, you would always find certain people who would benefit from there worldwide.
At the cost of human life.
At the cost of human life. So usually what happens is, because there's an international arms trade from Libya to South Africa to places like Russia and places like even Bosnia-Herzegovina where there's no more war, those weapons that has been stockpiled have to find a home. and they find homes.
May those weapons rust in peace.
Amen. But they find, a lot of times, they find their home in Africa. So places like Somalia, places like Eritrea, where there's been war for many years, for more than a decade. What you then see is that from all these countries, these weapons find their way to Africa, Liberia, Sierra Leone. That's where these weapons will come to. And that's what happened with Libya. So right after the war in Libya that toppled Gaddafi, all those weapons then moved to the Chadian region, and then Boko Haram came back.
So we're dealing with a Frankenstein, Jide.
It's almost like an international, an international
That
mystery.
is why the most dangerous faction of Boko Haram decided to stay in the Lake Chad area.
That's the clearinghouse.
Yes, because they can bring in weapons from Libya, passing through Niger Republic territory, and then coming to Chad, move all the way. When they get close to N'Djamena, then they come into Nigeria. So, and every time you try to stop them, they made sure that they dominated that area.
For the free passage.
Yes, because it's like there are some communities where they fought with our soldiers, and we lost many soldiers. And I've seen even some of those communities when I flew with the Air Force. I said, what is here? This is just a dusty community. But it's a critical route through which weapons can be funneled to them. So they won't allow you to keep a base there indefinitely. So when they continue to fight you, you probably close that base, and then they are happy. So this is the thing. And then there's a war in Mali. Through the war in Mali, weapons can also come into Niger Republic. And then
they share common border.
Yes. And then into Nigeria. In fact, if we are not careful, if we don't crush Boko Haram immediately, they have a way of mutating. They have a way of recovering rapidly, because they will bring contract fighters from Mali, from even Chad. Chad was involved in more than 40 years of civil war. So there are still contract fighters in Chad as we speak. So let's crush them quickly so that they can bring in mercenaries to fight us.
Yomi, as we make to leave, let's talk quickly about post-Koro Nigeria and post-Boko Haram Nigeria.
Somebody was saying yesterday, I think, I was at an online conference, and they said that it's going to be like the aftermath of an earthquake. Usually there's rebuilding that goes on. And so rebuilding is important. The rebuilding of people's lives, the rebuilding of people's communities, the rebuilding of businesses, all of that needs to go on. Just like we did our reconstruction and development in the 70s, we will need to do a lot of reconstruction and development.
It will be nice for people to return to their homes.
Yes.
I was speaking with Senator Kyari yesterday. I used to say Senator Kyari had not visited his hometown for 3 years. He said, no, Jide, I've not visited my village in 6 years.
Wow.
Since 2014, because it was too dangerous to go.
Good. So it gives him a little arm, weapon to do something at the National Assembly.
Once we win, you can go there.
Okay then, that will just about do it. Yomi, many thanks for take care of the three.
Yes,
Three
children and wife. Yes.
You are not planning a fourth.
Yeah,
No,
they are all at home now.
No, we're seeing each other every day.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing.
Like the man where they sack the children, then go ask the children, Daddy, you don't go work. So Daddy came back at noon. we are going. Daddy don't come back. They say, no, uncle. They don't say they don't sack the daddy. Okay, we must go. Thank you for your time, Jide. Thank you.
So
all right,
much.
that's all for today and the week. The Muslims, the fast is on. We wish you well. Pray for the country. Pray for the universe. Pray for the planet. If you miss this broadcast, you may also watch the program on other platforms we'll show on the screen.